The drama surrounding Shador Sanders has once again pulled the Cleveland Browns straight into the NFL's spotlight. Every season seems to bring a new controversy or twist that keeps the Browns front and center, and this time it's all about their young quarterback. The first preseason game, the rumors and the whispers of blockbuster trades have transformed Sanders into more than just a player. He's become the axis around which Cleveland's future spins. And yet that same axis is under threat from forces outside their walls, eager to pry him loose. For 3 months, the trade talk hasn't stopped. Teams across the league, big names, storied franchises, have reportedly floated offers to Cleveland. Some of those packages are said to be massive, the kind of deals that would tempt even the most loyal front office. But Cleveland hasn't budged. They've denied, delayed, and stonewalled every attempt, making it clear they won't let their rising star go without a fight. Sanders is more than a quarterback to them. He's the heartbeat, the very reason the Browns are even in the conversation when people talk about relevance in today's NFL. Without him, they risk fading back into the shadows they fought so hard to escape. Kevin Stefanski, never one to fan rumors, recently spoke about the noise swirling around Sanders. His words were calm, measured, but the subtext was impossible to miss. He admitted that in this league, tough decisions are inevitable, that not every player can always be kept. It was the kind of remark that ignited more speculation than it soothed. Fans, analysts, even journalists took it as a hint. Was Stefanski preparing the ground for a future without Sanders? Or was it just the honest truth of an NFL head coach constantly walking the line between football reality and fan expectations? Either way, it added fuel to an already raging fire. Inside Cleveland, the voices are split. Some argue that Sanders' trade value has never been higher, and that cashing in now could secure draft capital and veteran talent to build around. Others insist that moving him would be a catastrophic mistake, a short-term move that would gut their long-term stability. Reporters question why the Browns would cling to a quarterback who isn't even starting, while fans debate whether keeping him in waiting is worth the risk. The tension grows by the day, each whisper making the possibility of a trade feel simultaneously unthinkable and inevitable. The Browns, in their attempt to control this narrative, have only made things worse. By trying to downplay Sanders' significance, they miscalculated. Shedeur isn't just another young quarterback. He comes with his own gravitational pull, an audience, a fan base, a brand. He is content. He is relevance. Every attempt by the Browns to shift focus away from him has only backfired, amplifying the noise and increasing the pressure. They thought they could weather the storm quietly, but all they've done is make him the story even more. That first preseason game brought the issue into sharper focus. Stefanski rolled with Joe Flacco, a veteran meant to steady the ship. But instead of stability, the Browns got frustration. Flacco looked old, rusty, and slow. He was sacked multiple times through 2 interceptions and showed decision-making that left everyone shaking their heads. The Browns lost, but the real sting came from what didn't happen. Sanders never got the chance to play. Fans and pundits alike immediately pointed out that if Sanders had been under center, the result might have been very different. As Flacco stumbled, Sanders' value only rose. He began to look less like a rookie waiting in the wings and more like the cheat code Cleveland was sitting on. Stefanski's frustration after the loss was visible. His body language said it all: disappointment, disbelief, and the quiet agony of watching a game slip away because of costly mistakes. He defended Flacco publicly, sympathizing with the tough spot he was in, but even his words couldn't hide the truth. Flacco wasn't the answer. And if Flacco isn't, then who else but Sanders? The post-game press conferences turned into confessionals. Flacco admitted outright that he'd failed, that he'd missed key opportunities, that his accuracy wasn't where it needed to be. His voice cracked under the weight of responsibility as he described the game as one that would haunt him. He knew everyone knew that he'd let the team down. And in that moment, Sanders' shadow loomed even larger. The young quarterback who hadn't thrown a pass that day suddenly felt like the one who could save the season. But here's the danger. Pressure of this magnitude can break even the most gifted players. The whispers about Sanders starting, the trade offers, the speculation, it's all piling onto his shoulders before he's even been handed the reins. Cleveland knows this, and that's why they hesitate. Trading him feels reckless, but pushing him into the spotlight too soon could be just as damaging. It's a balancing act, one that might determine not only Sanders' career trajectory, but also the Browns' entire season. Other teams, however, don't care about Cleveland's balancing act. They see opportunity. Multiple franchises have already reached out, and the offers grow louder by the week. Dallas in particular has been linked, their interest undeniable, their willingness to pay steep. For them and others, Sanders represents possibility, a quarterback with poise, talent, and untapped potential who could be the missing piece for a playoff push. The Browns can't ignore how real that interest is. The calls keep coming, the packages keep getting sweeter, and the temptation only grows. Yet in Cleveland, the risk is crystal clear. Letting Sanders go could cripple their playoff hopes. He's not just a body on the roster. He's the spark that keeps the Browns in conversations they'd otherwise be left out of. Trading him now might bring assets, but it could also rip the heart out of a team already clinging to relevance. They've relied on his presence, even from the bench, to keep them in the NFL's spotlight. Without him, what are they? Just another team struggling to find their way. That's the dilemma. Hold on to Sanders and risk watching his value fade, or trade him now and risk watching him flourish somewhere else. Either path is a gamble. The NFL is unpredictable. Injuries, streaks, and surprises can flip a season on its head overnight. But one thing is certain. The decision Cleveland makes with Shador Sanders will echo far beyond this year. It will shape their future, dictate their identity, and decide whether they're remembered as bold visionaries or reckless dreamers who let their golden ticket slip away. So the question hangs heavy. Should the Browns cling to Shedeur Sanders, betting everything on the chance that he becomes the franchise savior they desperately need? Or should they cash in now while his market value soars, accepting the risk of watching him light up the field for someone else? The clock is ticking, the pressure is suffocating, and the fate of Cleveland football may very well rest on what they decide. What do you think? Should the Browns hold tight to Sanders and gamble on his potential, or should they let him go and rebuild through the treasure chest of picks and players they'd gain? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay locked in for more stories shaking the NFL to its core.